Hi there, so you join me on another red day for Hcmc. So far today for Hcmc we have dropped by a further 7.14%, and again this comes after a red week. Now in the past 5 days we are down by about 13%. And with the share price continuously dropping, a lot of people are asking the question, is now the perfect time to be getting out of Hcmc, or should you be holding it for the more long term? Well, of course, nobody knows for sure, and I am not a financial advisor. If you own Hcmc, if you're looking to get into Hcmc, one, you should make up your own opinions, and two, you should definitely watch other people on YouTube's videos, perhaps look at some forums as well, and also read the news and make what you will of it. Basically come to your own conclusions, because this is only mine, and I am not guaranteed to be right, and I can't stress that one enough. The second point that I want to make is, if you're going to watch like 10 seconds of this video and tell me Hcmc is dead, or that I'm saying this and that, you need to watch the full video to understand what I'm trying to say, because I have had people in the comments previously who watch like 10 seconds of the video and then they're making stupid comments down in the comment section saying that I said something that I haven't said. So yeah, now I've mentioned that, if you may enjoy this very quick video, please do make sure to give the channel a like, of course give this video a like, and subscribe as well if you may enjoy it. Now on 11.1k, thank you so much. We are on the road to 100k, we're like 1/10 of the way there. Actually we are over 1/10 of the way there now, so we are coming up to a quarter of the way there, so things moving very interestingly. Thank you guys for all the support. But yes, let's jump into this one, looking at Hcmc today, what we have seen and what is going on. Initially, Hcmc had a lot of hype around it in the past month or so, as we know. We saw highs back here on what looks like mid-February, and we can see on that period we were touching the 0.006 range, which is quite high compared to where we are right now, but ever since, the share price has been selling off. Now of course this massive increase in price was in anticipation of what is going to come of the lawsuit, but I think what happened here is a lot of people got into the stock a bit too fast, not necessarily knowing the details. Now guys, I do try and share the details with you to the best of my ability, but you do need to make sure to research this investment. It's a penny stock, it's very risky, but right now we know that even if the company does have long-term potential, we are definitely waiting on this lawsuit to give us some short-term gains for the stock, and that is what a lot of people are looking at. So yeah, from that high we have seen continuous sell-off. We can see a bit of hype around this period here, but recently the share price has been dropping again. Now in the past 2 or 3 days we saw a bit of positive action, that is true. Of course the 22nd was that date where we had the response from Hcmc. We've spoken about that in yesterday's episode, so you can watch that one if you would like to. But yeah, a lot of people again anticipating more good stuff for Hcmc's share price. Now in my eyes I think that date was actually quite significant. I think it did share some important information, and in my eyes I think it does show that Hcmc does potentially still have a case for this lawsuit, so that is something. But yeah, I wasn't expecting what a lot of people were expecting. Again, I do read the forums on Hcmc, seeing what people are saying, and people on that date were saying that we are going to hit a 0.002 open, and I was thinking to myself at the time, and I said it in videos around that time period, I don't think we are going to rocket to 0.02, 0.002, I don't think that we are going to see growth like that from where we are now for a long time. Here's my thing about Hcmc. I do own shares of Hcmc, you already know this. I own about 840,000 shares, and of course my shares I am looking to hold them for the more long term. Ultimately guys, you already know, because I have discussed it in many videos before, if I lose all of that money on Hcmc, it is a fairly large amount of money, over £1,000, but at the end of the day, if it gets lost, it gets lost. And I've said this before, this is a gamble stock and we already know that. If this one is to win the lawsuit, it could have a massive impact, but we just don't know how long that could take. Now, legal proceedings, they're not the most speedy of gestures. We are still waiting until the 16th of April to see what Philip Morris are saying, but basically that is going to be the first date in perhaps a long process. People are speculating to a settlement. I'm not saying that is impossible either. If a settlement does happen, it will be best for everybody in my opinion, but obviously that is not guaranteed either. From Philip Morris' perspective, I do believe it is logical for them to try and, off-put this one for as long as possible, so I think it is possible that this one could string out over a couple of months, if not a couple of years. And that is what people who are looking to get into Hcmc, or people who are already in Hcmc, do need to remember. So as you already know, I think that Hcmc does have potential, and I did buy shares like I have just discussed, but again, I can see this one dropping going forwards. I think the 16th is what we are really waiting on from now, but even then, I don't think it's guaranteed to rocket around that time period. I think in the next month or so, HCMC price does have the potential to drop even further down. I have said in a worst case scenario, if things don't go in HCMC's favour, I can see the share price going to half of its current value, if not less. And again, this is something that we did know of previously. The stock is quite hyped, and I think that is understandable. And if the patent does go in their way, if they win this lawsuit, again, it could have a massive impact, but that is not guaranteed. So getting back to the question that I asked at the start of the video, should you be selling HCMC now or should you just be avoiding it? Well, if you own HCMC, as I personally do, I think you need to look at this one in two different ways. One of the ways is the approach I am taking, which is of course the very high risk approach, which is of course I bought HCMC a few weeks ago and I'm looking to hold this one for the next 12 months. And again, for me, if it wins, it wins. If it doesn't win, it doesn't win. I took a risk. I only put in what I can afford to lose and what I am willing to lose. And of course, in worst case scenario, if I am to lose that, then it's lost. I knew that was a potential in the first place. And if it wins, then that could bring big gains with it as well. Now, there is the other approach. Some people aren't willing to wait a year, and I can understand why. In my opinion, I'm not sure how long this one is going to take to be over when it comes to the lawsuit, but I would say, looking from my perspective, I'd be looking to hold this one for a year, if not more, with HCMC in its current position. And even in that time period, I can see this one dropping. So if you own HCMC, I would definitely say, if you can anticipate this one dropping, if you think it's going to drop by quite a significant amount, and if you're okay with that, if you understand that it's high risk, and if you're okay with that, perhaps it could be a decent investment. And I think that some people definitely should be selling out of HCMC. And of course, they should definitely make sure to do their own research, as that's my own opinion. But the reason is because I think a lot of people, like I said, they were looking to become millionaires overnight with HCMC. I think a lot of people are still looking to become millionaires overnight with HCMC. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if people are going to make any money with HCMC, as I have mentioned, I think it is going to take more than just a few days for that to happen. So for that reason, I think people who are looking for this one to explode, I don't think this may be the best investment for them, as right now there is quite a lot of risk associated with the stock, and people need to remember that. Now, if you don't already own HCMC, personally I would say don't buy this one yet. And of course it is hard to predict where the share price is going, so I'm not really going to try and do that. But I think if you don't own this one, there is a potential that it could go a bit lower. And if it is to go lower, we could definitely be getting this one at a better price. But once more, I'm not making this video because I hate HCMC. I am still holding my shares. But obviously, I do want to give you guys a full perspective on this one. Yes, there is a lot of good stuff that can happen for the company, so don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, there is a potential that this share price could not do as people are expecting. And people really do need to be aware of that. So again, looking at HCMC today, we have seen quite a move to the downside. Clearly not as bad as what we saw yesterday, but it is still quite a move. Now, if we look at the candlesticks specifically, we can see the wick on the candle to the high side and the low side is quite prevalent. So highs and lows of the day are quite high in relation to the body of the candle, but again, the body of the candle quite small, so we didn't move too much today overall. Now, this actually does conflict. Yesterday, we saw a big red candle, of course, not much wick to the high side, and actually not much wick to the low side as well, so of course, a lot of selling pressure. And in the past few moments, this one is trickling down to the 0.012 range, and we can see subsequently the candlestick becoming a bit more prevalent. So yeah, this could be a bit of an indication in my eyes of more sell-off coming for HCMC, and I think a lot of people are probably anticipating that at this stage. So again, if you're looking to get into HCMC, just be aware guys, this one could take a long time to unravel. I think that's what people need to remember. If it takes years to unravel, even if it takes weeks or months, I think people will be selling this one as they do see their losses, and that is why I definitely do recommend that you should only put in what you are willing to lose, because of course if it is to go down, you guys shouldn't be left with a large amount of shares if you can't afford it. So be aware of the risks. It is very high risk. That's just my opinion based on what we have been seeing. So again, not a video trying to hate on HCMC. I own shares personally, just an honest perspective on what I have been seeing. So overall, I think that what the company has is promising. I think the next few weeks, months and years are very promising for the company if this lawsuit does work in their favour, which it does have the potential to do. But again, a lot of people are now crying about the fact that HCMC has been falling in price. I think fair enough to them, and subsequently I think that these people do need to kind of reevaluate where they are with the stock, and of course look at the risk and the reward and what they are willing to take, find a basis somewhere in the middle. But that's just my opinions. I will see you again tomorrow talking about HCMC, hopefully before market, but again it might be after depending on how much free time I have. So I'll see you then. Goodbye.